some of our changes we've been planning for a bit. One of the things we like to do is we like to really assess the weaknesses and the strengths of our Discord and thoughtfully think about how to reorganize them. So right now, we just kind of went through a pruning stage. We cut some rooms down, brought some rooms together, and now through this week, you're going to see some new bots, some new features, especially for those who are onboarding into this ecosystem. We want to make it easier and we want to make it more interactive. All the knowledge is there to know about Tribe, but it's a lot. There's a lot of decks. You have to go to a lot of websites. You have to, listen to a lot of AMAs. So we're trying to be smarter about that. And, we're going to be introducing summaries this week, which will be really cool. Like every AMA we do, we're going to do a summary for it as well. So you'll always get or at least a vast majority of our AMAs or audio events we do will have these summaries, and you'll get something for, less than 300, 400 words that get you to the kind of the core stuff of what we discussed, and, would allow you to jump in a little bit more deeper if you're interested in some of the content. And it's just a really great way to keep our community more informed. Because we have a very active audience, right? And the audience is across a lot of different time zones, which is also really powerful. But it means that, right, again, with the amount of content we do, we don't expect you all to be here. So we also want to make it easier for you guys when you can't be there for a live event to still get, the relevant information over to you alongside replay. So you're going to see that come out. You're going to see these cool education modals and buttons kind of come out, where you'll learn more about Tribe Diamond utility, Genesis Soul utility, Soul Season 2 Intertwined Souls, how to use relics, how to use our market. All these pieces are going to kind of come up, and that's been really fun this week. And then the other stuff we've been working on is getting prep for Village kind of Season 2. In Village Season 1, we're going to do a recap later this week, and we put a lot of events on the calendar already, and I think there's still 5 more events to be put on this week. But essentially already, 9 events. Oh yeah, I got to put the Reapers event. That's going to be at 9 p.m. is what Reapers on Tuesdays, right? Yeah. Wow. We got so many cool events. Sorry, I'm going to just put that on there right now. Oh man, I really wish Discord would allow me to do recurring events. They literally make us manually enter these each week, which is so annoying. This will be in Reaper's Discord. This is Galactic Vote 003. Coming up. That's going to be a big one. And man, there's some big updates coming on Reapers tomorrow, which will be pretty cool. So this one's at 9 p.m. Yep, 9 p.m. And this will end at 9:30 p.m. New results, new vote, and debate. We've had some really hilarious Reapers ones. Oh my god, the last Reaper session, they're all so interesting and amazing and different, and it's fun. We're finding our vibe with kind of this live action role-playing game with our community. But shout out to Senator Lemon Boy. That guy went all out in our last session. I was laughing so hard with this senator's approach. It was the best way I could put it is he was really willing to add a new character role into this world that I thought was just hilarious. Had a lot of fun doing that as well. Aw. Can I skip this? Yeah, I'll add the image later, whatever. This looks stupid, but I'll update that image later. Oh, gotta get all the right file sizes. I'm telling you, dude, content creation's annoyingly boring. I don't know why. I don't know how all these people do it, and I don't want to pay a intern to do this. It's just annoying though that I can't just recurringly add all the images. AI will solve all this shit soon. When Discord adds AI, create an event real quick and give it 5 keywords to pull a message in, it'll be such a cooler product experience. But this is the weird world we have to live in. But that's going to be some of the cool updates I want to share with you guys, as well as that we're going to also introduce you guys to some new tech. Because one of the things we're more interested in is that we've been primarily a Discord based experience thus far. And we want to now start adding some like web and Twitter based experiences as well. And that's going to start with Ronin. Ronin's going to have this really cool feature where right now in the final testing, I think it might be ready to go by tomorrow, where you can essentially stake your PFP to earn um, rewards, within a Discord. So one of the cool ways is that in Ronin, we're gonna like show the Ronin flag, and if you're willing to like raise the Ronin flag and use it as your PFP on Twitter, you could verify that, and you'll unlock this role where you'll over time you'll keep staking, and these rewards will give you potentially a higher chance to enter in the world of Ronin, if that's something you're interested in and value. Now, and again, we'll be very clear. Ronin is a different approach in BTC. It's not for everyone, but if it is something you're interested in, we're going to find some cool ways to allow some of our open community members, but also just a really cool way to leverage the depth of this community. Right. The reason this idea really came out was really one factor. It was the fact that all of you were already using our cloaks, right, in some way, and all of you already use it in Discord, right? We see like 50 to honestly, we see it around like 75 to 80% of people are wearing cloaks in our Discord. And this is kind of why it's pretty exciting, is that we can always give you guys different ways to express the loyalty and the value of that loyalty to from this community. So this PFP staking is going to be really cool. There's a few other people who've done this before. I think we're going to do like a really cool novel way of building this loyal brand, because Twitter is going to play such an important role over the next 4 weeks. If I could give you a little bit more like direct insight, you guys will get a little sneak peek. But the good thing is, like, we're gonna really take advantage of this bear market to start emphasizing what we've been doing and what we've been building. And I think a lot of people are going to be surprised at the level of content and the level of depth that we've been building, even in this bear, and how we've done it across multiple properties, and also how we've supported other projects. And there's so many cool storylines, right? Like we have some of the most amazing quality pixel art in Web3 period, right? In the world. I think there's our pixel art as a level of depth and storytelling that I think is unparalleled, especially if you look at not only the depth of the characters, but the interoperability with other projects, and the fact that we've built, these beautiful animated scenes as well. There's such a really cool use of the pixel art medium in so many different ways to build this IP up. And it's kind of like this like concept of like Lego IP, right? Like, Lego has this whole video series across multiple films as well, alongside multiple games, alongside, of course, their physical product. Weirdly, Lego is like almost the best way to be thinking about how you build a brand in Web3. It's a super interesting brand that like is anchored in one of the mediums incredibly well. And then it was able to kind of anchor into almost all the other mediums in a very high quality manner, right? Where it got from physical to video games to film, and all have had like box office hits to an extent. I would say the Lego gaming side has been more medium than like breakout hit, but the Lego films, were really high box office hits before in the past. And, a few of the Lego games have been pretty large breakouts. I remember playing an awful Lego game on my PC computer as a kid. But still great. And of course, the physical toys are like it's almost insane how much people pay for Legos if you look at the pricing, but they have like all the IP you'd ever want, right? Legos are that building block where there's Star Wars Legos, there's probably Minecraft Legos, or I don't know what all the brands are, but there's a ton. There's Porsche Legos. And I think that's where it gets really interesting is like that's the type of brand you want to almost be building in this market. And that's kind of where it gets pretty awesome on that front. So there's some cool stuff that's happening with our brand as well. And we really want to pull that out with our community because our community is trying to design, for physical and digital and, different entertainment experiences. And we really want to do that across Ronin. We really want to do that across Reapers. And you're seeing Reapers taking form in the votes. You're seeing Lost Realms taking form of the art. And we've really done that with pixel art in such a way that I think when the market sees all of it all together, it'll be pretty cool. So that's what we're working on. We're figuring out a cool way to showcase like all of our art and specifically almost all of our pixel art, which will be really cool. And we're going to be building these in like different floors of like a virtual museum of sorts, right? So it'll be pretty cool, I think. So we should hopefully have that done within a week. So that'll be coming up next. And behind that, right, it's going to be probably taking a much larger voice on ordinals as well. So let's quickly just talk for like a few minutes on like the builder thesis, right? Like this is kind of what I think through on a weekly basis. So I want to just give you a little bit of a look into it. The ETH market, right, is still going to struggle, right? And I think that's going to be really important to understand. There's good weekly mints happening, so we'll be able to kind of see from signals and get quick feedback on that. So, Genkai, the CyberKong's pitch is coming out, in this week. That's going to be pretty interesting and probably something worth kind of watching and seeing whether or not that's too large of a supply at 20,000 total supply. It's 7,000 airdrops, 9,000 paid public mints at 0.25, and then 4,000 unknown. So we're gonna see how that plays out, and I think the ETH market will struggle to mint most of these out. If they do mint out, it will be either very amazing market making or very large changes in the economics, i.e., either much smaller supply with supply cut or much cheaper mint price. But this market doesn't have that much more liquidity anymore, right? And we're right now seeing this on both markets, to be very honest. Ordinals is also trying to find liquidity, but Ordinals is finding break even at luxury liquidity price points, which is really interesting. While ETH is finding struggle on profitability at like even 0.01 E mints, right? Even free mints, like not even going off in ETH, sustaining anything beyond like 0.05. We saw there was Skyborn Legacy just a couple days ago or yesterday minted. They raised $15-20 million in venture. They never had great story, don't get me wrong, but their free mint, is like I think 0.03 E, right? Honestly, they probably should have worked with Village, to be honest. But yeah, the storytelling just wasn't good, and going out with a small supply, 3,333. They kind of dud at 0.03 as well. Shout out to Garbage Friends. At least, Garbage Friends was a fairly reasonable mint price. It was an awful 4-day structure, but shout out to them for cutting mint almost in half and going back to 0.065. What they realize is their art is good. Honestly, Ether could have had a very similar outcome. Like, I still really like the Ether art. Like it's still a little too noisy at the top, and there was like not enough restraint, which I've talked to you guys about. But if Ether was like actually managing the mint and hype correctly leading up to it, like Ether could have easily minted out at 0.35 if they started with that prior to mint and done like a 7,000 supply. But they did awful mint strategy, the 1 week, mint with whitelist, and the next week public, just awful decisions. And this is what you're seeing is this market is just making awful decisions on execution and strategy. And it's just because they're not experienced, or more importantly, they're not reading the signals of the market, right? I think everyone is getting confused on how strong Azuki was as a brand compared to everyone else. Like Azuki was a top 3 brand when they tried to get 2 ETH, and to be honest, almost everyone thought 2 ETH was going to be a no-brainer mint. Everyone was max minting that, right, to a certain extent, right? Every whale max minted that shit, right? Because they just thought, like, they all thought on 2E, this is going double easy to 4E, right? Like, that was the expectation. And, of course, they were a dud. It didn't work out in terms of the quality that most people were expecting. But everyone gets it twisted, though. Like, Azuki is still so far ahead of the market. Like, it's now pulled back, but at the time when they minted, they had that leverage. If you're not Azuki, and honestly, not even Yuga has that leverage. I mean, Azuki's now lost that leverage, but Yuga was struggling to mint out stuff, even at that kind of price point of 2E at this point in this market. So if you're not one of those two guys, you have to come in low. And what all these guys are making the mistake on is they're minting at prices that allow for no secondary gain, right? Or very limited secondary gains, right? What it essentially does is then it starts pushing so much pressure on protecting mint floor. And what ends up happening, right, is just it collapses, right? Or it struggles to hold, especially in this bear market because they're not looking at the data. So when we understand that market awareness, this is also something we want to see is that ordinals is an interesting counter narrative. And ordinals isn't roaring by any means, but ordinals is showing very interesting life. Some people are writing it off too early, but like I want to and we're going to do this new series, again, starting this week. What I realize is like, dude, there's a lot of dumb people who don't know anything about the ordinals market, twisting a lot of stuff. So I'm just going to give it to you guys straight. And we're going to start doing this event that I just posted here where I'm just going to break down the market so you can see the numbers too. The same thing we do with the blur events and stuff. I'm going to show you because here, let me give you a little insight. A lot of people have been writing OMB, Ordinal Maxi Biz off. But oh my God, dude, these guys minted 90% of their supply at 0.09 BTC. Right? Which is a lot of money. That's $2,700, right? That's like 1.2 ETH they minted at. And their collection is up, right? At right now, 0.24 ETH, right? Dude, that's a shit ton of money. That is up, 0.024, 0.24 BTC, right? Is roughly $7,000, right? So it's like a 3.5 ETH, right? Floor. That thing is doing incredibly well for 2,000 supply. Are you kidding me? At the start of their market, one of the first early winners in the first 3 to 4 months is holding a 2,000 supply at 3.5 ETH floor, right? And it's up 2.5x, right? From mint. That's pretty good. That's really good. And that's really interesting, right? And that's something that most people don't understand. Yeah, the project's called Ordinal Maxi Biz. This is the most, if you care any bit about ordinals, you should be following this collection every day. This one is going to be telling you the signal of OMB, Ordinal Maxi Biz, everywhere. And it's getting really good volume. It dropped down to 0.20 or just under 0.20 earlier, but it got more buy supply back onto it and brought the floor back up to 0.244. But there are still some red flags here. One of the biggest red flags here at the moment right now is that unfortunately there's a lot of listings on this thing, right? For how many are in the supply? 427 are listed of 2100. All right. What it is that it's got a super thick wall to run through, because I think what essentially happened was that OMB gave out so much of the whitelist power to the original holders that they just put them primarily, a vast majority of them, put them into alt wallets, right? So what they're doing is that they're probably just laddering up their profits, right, as they own like two or three, right, at this point. And yeah, there's a lot of above floor sales on OMB as well, right? And which is really another good sign. Honestly, the biggest weakness of OMB is some of the floors do feel like floors. There are like some, the hoodie crowd is really dope. A lot of people prefer like OMBs that are darker, like they have like more of the all black silhouette, which is really interesting. And with their green eyes, it gives a great contrast. Those usually go for much higher. There's other certain traits out there that are pretty interesting. So, it's pretty interesting to see this, and it's actually a very bullish signal, right? 2000 supply holding this in this market. Yo, that's killer. It was a high mint, but it's holding 2.5x return. Really, really interesting. Yeah, this is a total riff off the punks, so it's actually supposed to be similar to the punks, right? That's what OMB is trying to do in that front. So it's really interesting, right? And this is kind of why you guys want to keep an eye on them as well. And we'll share more, but like, the other one that's kind of interesting, that's worth watching, I think it's a project that's just overpriced for the market, but it's holding a point 0.1 BTC floor, but it did mint at 0.12, is Little Peepos. This is around like 400-ish supply, so this is relevant to us. I think what Little Peepos kind of underestimated is that there isn't enough attention and buy pressure on this collection at that type of entry point, right? At this type of entry point, right, which is roughly around 1.5E, right, which is, 0.1 BTC, there's not a ton of buyers for this market right now. OMB seems to be eating quite a bit of that. And I think, again, the bigger problem is that, it's not really getting to the interest level of the market, because I think what's interesting is Little Peepo's genesis was too small. Their genesis is called Inscribed Pepes, and there are only 69 of them. So I think their attention funnel made it really hard. It was so narrow that it was hard to get awareness for the next collection at a meaningful level. While OMB's genesis was around 200, and I think they were able to then kind of get that attention a lot better into the next wave, also with their whitelist allocation strategy. So it's pretty interesting, but definitely worth watching. The other one worth watching, even though it's not that relevant in my opinion, but it is interesting, is checking out BTC DeGod. So DeGod's had, I think, a few that they burned previously or something. I forget what exactly it was, and they rose them from the ashes and inscribed them on BTC. These are interesting to watch because they've historically been trending, in a fairly healthy way. Again, holding a 1.5 BTC floor usually over the last, it's been around 1 BTC pretty generally. There's been a few highs and a few higher sales, but most of the sales have been just around 1 BTC up or down. So it's been holding a 1 BTC, right? That's 30K. This is a 15 ETH floor. What's interesting here is that BTC DeGods are 15 ETH. And what's interesting, right, is then their counterparts, right, on ETH are trading at like almost half that number, around like 40% less, right? And that's kind of the interesting thing, is that the BTC whale market seems to be valuing those assets a little bit higher, due to the smaller supply, And B, BTC to Gods did do something cool. They inscribed like all of them on one block. So there's like a little bit of interesting narrative there. It is like under 100,000 inscription too, which is generally early. It holds some weight, but it's not like the most relevant weight. The most important weight is like the sub 1,000 and the sub like 10,000 range. But pretty interesting. But you really want to be looking at these three, and there's some pretty insane signals here, right? Like the BTC to Gods outperforming ETH to Gods, and ETH to Gods one of the best performers on ETH right now. They haven't given up much of their market share and floor while most of the other blue chips had. So this is really interesting when you look at these numbers. So what you realize from like ordinals is small supply, high floor is working really interestingly, right? So if you can build a compelling brand, there's a pretty large opportunity in that. And this is a major reason why we're now leading into Ronin, right? And that's kind of the important thing here now is that I think we have a very amazing opportunity to become a native builder and leader here, where we're building not just a side brand, but a core brand that brings a very active audience that is already getting some of the most interesting conversations. And imagine if we start doing, something we're calling now like ordinal mints, right? Where we start doing our version of something as minting for ordinal projects, we could probably get pretty interesting allocation. And it seems like a pretty interesting counter play to the rest of the ETH market, while ETH will probably stay neutral at best, if not, could go downhill, right? If some of these bigger projects don't execute well. We'll see how Genkai plays out. We'll see how The God Season 3 plays out. We'll see how meme as a coin is going to work for 9gag captains and meme land. Really interesting stuff. And that's kind of what we get over the next 3 to 4 weeks. But I think the really core stuff that's only going to be working on ETH is small supply, low cost free mints, right? Like people who are going to drive overt value, those are still the plays. So like I'm still very bullish on Weebox. I'm very, very bullish on Jungle. Like we're going to start getting Jungle like one-on-one chats here in our Discord with you guys. Because I want you guys to hear what Zhao's doing. And like I said, I've been playing their game. But I want to show you guys that we're going to still get the best projects on ETH. But we now have this really interesting counter opportunity. And like honestly, it feels like a once in a lifetime opportunity to capture a pretty early, healthy position on ordinals. And with these signals, man, there could be some really cool stuff that not only we launch, but we could partner with and get allocation for you guys in our community. And that's kind of how we're building our priorities, right? Because this is the beauty, right? Like the beauty of what Tribe does is that we're like swimming at like a really fast pace towards it, like the direction. And if we see another opportunity, right, we can do some really cool, we have this advantage where we can probably move in another direction relatively quickly, right? Compared to everyone else, right? Like we can actually navigate a lot of different trajectories really quickly. And you're already seeing Tribe do that, right? We're building this first party content. We're actually building multiple Discords. Like it's actually kind of funny if you look at it. We now have 2 of the top 5 most active Discords in like Web3 when you look at it from live minutes spent, right, in audio, which we think is like the most stickiest value in a community. Like Tribe and Reapers already have that, and we're probably opening up Ronin this week, right? Which if we do Ronin might open up like, yeah, actually I think it'll open up this week. If Ronin opens up this week, I think you'll see Ronin's kind of strategy and vision open up and probably become, probably as large as Reapers in some of these live events as well. And that's kind of the amazing thing is we'll have that, and we'll be supporting Jungle, right? And we'll be supporting some of the other AMAs and Something is Minting series. And we're able to cover this ground where it feels like we have a better foundation than most, right? And I think this is where it gets really exciting because Tribe is the hub, but each of our projects are going to have their own Discord identity, right? And that's Ronin. And when the time comes, Lost Realms will also move to its own Discord. It will probably keep Lost Realms here for a little bit longer in the storytelling, but yeah, Ronin will probably move out, and this Discord will probably only keep Tabula Rasa within it. And the nice thing about this is that we'll make each of these experiences native, because the Reaper's product experience is totally different than what we're doing here in Tribe, and the Ronin Discord experience is going to be totally different. It'll be somewhat similar to Reapers without the voting. It's going to be this PFP staking and this kind of honored honorary ceremonies is kind of the best way to explain it, because a lot of the Ronin partnerships are being formed as we speak, and then auctions in our Tribe server will get that as well. And what's also really cool behind all of this stuff is that we're still developing all of the IP for Ronin and the art for Ronin, and you're just going to see all this beautiful stuff that's going to come out. And that's just one part of our whole world. So with Ronin, and I'll share a couple, like we shared this in our last call, but like I'll share these. I love sharing these. Here's like a common samurai, or he's still a really rare samurai. And like I love how clean and simple this one looks. It's actually more my style, surprisingly, and I love this one. But now, if we want, we could go with like a little bit more of a rare Ronin here as well. I'm dropping these in the chat right now. This one's like the all gold one, right? He's got a matching outfit, slightly different helmet. The first three are all going to share the same mask. I just wanted to show you how the range will look. And this is like top tier pixel art, which is really amazing, right? And then we could go to, like, if we want to do a little bit of rare, we could do one of these. I'll do the white. This is like the pure white armor, which a lot of people love. One of our white Ronin disciples. But this one's like showing you like a totally different, and these are like totally different armor sets on each one, right? And the cool thing is they each have their own vibe, even though they're sharing the same mask, right? And this is where it gets really cool, is that we have over 20 different masks. We'll probably cut it down to like only 12 final masks when all is said and done. We have, 12, we'll at least have 12 different helmets. We'll have 12 different body armors, tons of different backgrounds here as well. This is kind of where it becomes really interesting. Oh yeah, numerous people dethroned our tomb from the oldest block. We don't care about that, right? Like, we'll still be the oldest collection at that point, but in the end, those are all the fleeting stuff, right? What a lot of people forget is that if you're only building your project on history value, you essentially have like a capped narrative and a capped design, right? And the reason I say that is because in the end, you're only hoping that your provenance is what drives the expected value of the collection. And it's actually not the biggest goal here, right? In the end, I think there's some value in being like under sub 1000, but being like the first and oldest block 9 versus like the 10th, it really doesn't matter. It's more about now the storytelling where you build the product experience beyond that. And it's just being the value of being in block 9 has its story in its own. And there's actually like 2 mints before us already. So we don't mind that at all, right? And that's kind of the reason why we didn't want to come out with that public narrative, right? Because it's just knowing that we're still the earliest. Someone's going to get earlier than OCM probably in the next like 3 or 4 weeks. Someone will get earlier than that person in the next 3 or 4 weeks, because that's kind of the nature of this block. Like, there is truly only historical one position, right? And that is the first Satoshi of the ninth block, right? Which is pretty cool. So we have a lot of cool stuff coming here as well. So lots of fun stuff in the design. So, Ronin's kind of building out its own product experience. It's got, a lot of things going in its direction. And then the cool thing is then there's a whole bunch of these different like animated masks that are pretty cool. Like there's like a snake, there's a dragon. These are a little bit more rare. These are like what we call like also like fire eyes, which are also pretty cool. Let me see if I could grab these. I'll grab all four of them here. And it just kind of shows you a few different looks, which is kind of cool. We're still figuring out, and there's some final colors and tweakings that are going into all of these. But you can kind of see a different vibe of this, which is also really interesting. You're going to have this very detailed, world of characters, and the rarity is going to be based off those that are, from matching colors to also animation, right? So you could have animated face masks, you could have animated eyes. So there's all these different colored fire eyes. So these will be kind of some of the natural rarity, but we still want to keep them all within a collection. And what's so crazy is these animations are done in just 6 frames because you have to keep these file size as small as you can. And that's the beauty because we're actually doing these as what we call like these kind of pure inscriptions. We're not doing any recursion. We're literally putting the exact file inscribed directly on Bitcoin that you can pull, which is really cool. And that's the fun part about this is that we love this nature where you guys have that direct space on the blockchain for history, right? It's not a compressed file, it's not a layered HTML file. It is a true space on that block that you are in position of with this asset. And we built all these different backgrounds. So Ronin's going to have some really cool stuff behind it. And like the first action is in Ronin's storytelling is going to be being able to enter the dojo, right? Because the story behind Ronin is there's this master samurai. He essentially wants to work in a world. He believes in a world that where the people are truly in power rather than these centralized clans that claim territory and rules and taxes. He wants to essentially build this right in a very different manner. And this master samurai essentially, through his framework and through his learnings, recruits these 9 Ronin, right? And these 9 Ronin are essentially his disciples, right? That he's going to teach. And he gives each disciple his own color, right? His own storytelling. The armor is unique to them. And you have some really cool ones, right? My favorites, the black one. Some people love the white one. Some people love the gold one, blue one. We have a lot of cool different options, but there's 9 different colors. I'll drop them here. And these are like the rarest of the rare of these collections, right? Which is really interesting. These all have a total different unique design, and they have this super deep aura. And these are all inscribed on Block 9 sats, which is pretty cool. And they're really heavyweight. These are like one of the largest files for a PFP collection to be inscribed, which is pretty cool, right? These are all over 100 KB. So again, they hold their own weight and their own block space on early Block 9 sats. So this is kind of where it gets really cool, very fun in this kind of design. And you're going to see the reason for this history. And what you want to understand is Ordinals is not like NFTs on Ethereum. Ethereum NFTs have their own value, but they are not truly decentralized in the way you'd hope, right? The vast majority of assets on Ethereum are stored on a server, right? An IPFS server. And these usually are Amazon Web Servers, right? So if you don't pay your bill or if Amazon Web Servers go down, right, the asset will disappear. They're not truly truly, inscribed and protected forever, right? There are some fully on-chain assets on Ethereum, which is interesting, and there are certain projects, but it's a very small amount, very finite amount, and that's kind of the interesting thing about Bitcoin and ordinals. Essentially everything is on chain, right? It is truly immutable. As long as you have belief in this world's oldest chain, like what, even if you're not a Bitcoin maxi, right, or you're aware of Bitcoin, I think one of the more compelling truths in the world is that because it is already the oldest chain and the way it is structured to be fully decentralized, and with the incentive structure it has created, Bitcoin is probably the most compelling chain to live on forever, right? I think ETH makes the next interesting case, right? But I think it's very clear Bitcoin is the one that has the strongest case. So what you're essentially doing with these assets on ordinals is you're actually getting what I think is properly called digital artifacts. These are literally artifacts in the history of time on ordinals, right? And they also cut into the history of ordinals in very different ways, right? It cuts into the history of like inscription numbers, so like this date, you actually have a timeline. There's then also this depth of what Satoshi you inscribed on, which is like almost the canvas. Like, is this inscribed on clay? Is this inscribed in marble? Is this inscribed in gold? It's almost that kind of parallel to a certain extent, depending on what you value, right? Do you want block 9 sats, or do you want uncommon sats, or do you want rare sats, or do you want pizza sats? Do you want palindrome sats? There's a different flavor for everything, which is really interesting. And then there's another depth of like the design. It could be like weight of the asset, right, is considered by many, like the inscription size, right, may have value. Maybe you want a larger asset, right, and you value that, right, bigger piece of art, right, or an art that truly represents a larger piece of the block. And that's where it gets really interesting, is there's some really fun design in this product experience of where we're going and where we're scaling. And that's why I'm really excited about the products that we're trying to design each and every day. It's really around how do we keep inspiring you to be connected with each of these layers, with each of these art pieces, but also understand the true differences of a Ethereum NFT and a ordinal artifact, right? Like these truly are going to be an element that exists forever. And there's kind of a beauty to that, right? Knowing no matter what, as long as the chain exists, this is here forever for anyone to access, for anyone to point to, and for it to be represented in my digital wallet and my digital identity. And that's why I think it's special to be doing something early on ordinals and being a part of this journey, because I think this whole first wave is a first wave. I'm not as worried as others of like, are you in the 1 millionth block or the 10 millionth block? I don't think it really matters. I think it matters on, do you deliver something interesting to your holder, something of value to your holder? And that's the other amazing thing about Ronin, right? Ronin is a is going to be one of the deeper storytelling and one of the deeper art based assets. It's, I think, going to be one of the chances to be one of the first original IPs to hold weight. I think OMB is one of them. I think Seize Control is one of them. I think Little People's could be one of them. I mean, Pepe has been used kind of everywhere, so I'm not as I think as a standalone IP. I would be betting on more original stuff, right? And I think there's a few others, like I think there's bandits, and there's frogs. Like they all kind of have an interesting play, but I think there's a room for 3 or 4 more ones. And why can't it be these fucking dope ass samurai? Why shouldn't it be a totally original IP that hasn't been shown before? Right. And I think that's exactly what we're kind of really now going after, because we have this product experience and opportunity that is just like wilder and different and unique in this kind of design. And you could just see with like just some of these samurais and where this world is going, there's just going to be a lot of dopeness right behind it. And I can't wait to show you guys all this cool art here and all this cool design. And here's the amazing kicker about Ronin, and this is what the world will start realizing, is Ronin is also going to be getting an ordinal community as well, right? Like, and what I mean by that is that we're gonna work super hard to make Ronin not only the best, art PFP in that market. We want to go after that spot. But the other thing we're really going to go after, which I think is going to be incredibly special, is that we're going to try to make sure we get the best community, knowledge, and access on ordinals as well. I want to host more ordinal projects. I want to get us more ordinal allocation. And Ronin holders are going to also get a huge opportunity because it's going to bring us, hopefully, if we execute this well, it should bring us a lot of leverage in that space. And this is where I think Ronin gets very powerful in the design. And there's a few other cool little quirks that are going to come with Ronin because Ronin is going to have, 378 supply. So it's small supply, but it's larger than other projects' initial supply. And the reason why we have confidence in this is because we have a pretty amazingly connected community. So we have a community of diamonds, right? And we have a community um, of partners that want to be a part of what this universe is. So it's going to be a really cool way to bring that in. But what's also interesting is the treasury is going to take a pretty large supply, which is also unique because we're going to be distributing these out. And we want to distribute these out over time and even to our own community as well. It's a very similar philosophy we taken with diamonds. And diamonds, we've been able to do it where not only did we have an initial primary sale, but we've been able to distribute diamonds over multiple windows back to our community at incredibly fair and equitable prices. And that's important too because again, we know that community grow over time, and the more we can offer our most valuable assets, sorry, to our community, the stronger our community will be, right? It's not about us just holding our assets for us to accumulate wealth. It is holding these assets collectively so we could redistribute wealth, right? And that's also why, we've been working hard to continue to seed more assets to the treasury. And that's going to be a huge factor moving forward with all these projects. We already got a lot of allocation. We're hoping, moving forward, we'll be able to get you guys even more across the board. And Ronin is going to be able to get a large amount of that for the ordinal side as well. So that's kind of where things are going with Ronin. We have multiple events for Ronin this week. If you're interested, feel free. But like, I want to be very transparent. Ronin is not built for those who don't have at least 5 ETH in liquidity. I'm not saying the mint is 5 ETH, right? Not at all, right? It is going to be a generally fair mint price for what this market is. But it is not built, right? Ordinals is a luxury of luxury game at this point, right? As you can see, the way this market is designed, especially in a bear, if you only have a couple ETH of liquidity, Ronin's probably not your play. I want to be honest, right? Um, and it's because you don't want to take that large of a risk with your bankroll, right? But Ronin does have some cool components that make it more affordable. And there is going to be this honor guild design that, we call it, there's actually a phrase, we named it recently. Hold on, let me get the name of it. It's called, where did we put it? Oh, it's in the actual deck, the Ronin deck. Um, where is that Ronin deck? Oh, it's in the council announcements. One sec. I'm actually curious. I forgot what we named it. It's called like I think it's Oath of Loyalty. Is that what we called it? But I'm curious what the name is in Japanese. Yeah, Oath of Loyalty, and I'm gonna butcher this. It's called Chugako no Chikai. So this is. I'm sorry. I clearly don't know Japanese, and I'm probably butchered that like no other. But this oath of loyalty that comes with Ronin is actually really interesting. We're gonna give you guys a essential honor bound pact where right now thinking it's gonna be 21 days, but essentially what we're gonna offer, which is crazy, is that for any reason, if you want, you could return, you could sacrifice your samurai back to the treasury and we'll repay your mint price. We'll unlock your mint price. You'll have 21 days to make that choice. It's a really interesting thing because what our goal is that we want to mint this at a price that is so favorable to you and the interest may be hopefully really raw, like strong, right? Is we want to make sure that the price is not even a reason why you consider not minting, right? If you're in that position to do so, right? And this is where it's really nice is that, if we do our job, hopefully no one takes the sacrifice, this oath of loyalty, right? No one, so like everyone takes the oath of loyalty while no one, for, forgoes it and takes an honorable discharge, right? So what's really cool here, you could get the design. So yeah, I mean the way it's gonna work is that you'll have to like we're still figuring out the exact mechanic because here's the thing that does suck about Bitcoin is that you can't do an easy smart contract. Like on ETH, this is super easy, right? ETH is like send it to a wallet and we'll auto trigger, right, a payment back to you on that 21st day. We think we could do that pretty easily on Bitcoin, but it's not as smooth as you'd like it. It's a little bit more manual than you'd like. At least, we're still learning about this stuff too. But yes, so essentially you'll have this oath of loyalty and you'll be protected on this paid mint. And the cool thing is that in our real bull scenario, no one takes it because and that's what we're hoping for. We design it well enough and fair priced enough that it hits a multiple higher than that floor that you never even consider it. That's really what we're trying to do. And we're going to put our money where our mouth is, which is great. Then the cool thing is in the middling scenario where maybe we're just above mid price. The cool thing is those who believe in what Ronin is doing, what we'll do is we'll dynamically lock up supply. So the supply could go from like it'll still be 378 no matter what. But the way it will be is that it'll just be taken back into the treasury, right? And the treasury will hold for at least a minimum of X days, and we'll announce all that stuff. Which means that you have a dynamically smaller supply and more value will be captured to those who believe. So you might have this scenario where it just dynamically balances around that mint and it finds its own perfect product market fit. It's actually a really weirdly perfect design. And then the downside scenario is like, hey, your art sucks. We don't like this. You guys didn't do shit. Get out of here. You can all commit seppuku with us and we'll have to buy back every mint and we eat the entire loss of the project, right? Which is interesting. So this is how we're designing it. It's a big risk. We're playing a six-figure game here with you guys now, right? But this is what I'm excited about because we think it's the most honorable thing we could do. And we're not here to design for cash extraction. If we're designing for cash extraction, it means that we minted it at a price where the value is not higher than the mint. We made a mistake, right? That's a cash grab. That's actually the best cash grab I can explain if you had to define it, right? Where there's no secondary market interest higher than your mint. So what have we done is we've essentially designed this system to be like, holy cow, you can get great access to it and you still have some protection if the market doesn't move in our direction. And we take all this hit as crazy, but you know what? If we can't get a good enough mint out here and I can't convince 100 of you to keep it, right? Like I don't deserve a mint. I really don't deserve to mint that shit, right? And that's the other beauty about this design is that it literally allows the market to reject a mint, and it doesn't lead to like price, it doesn't lead to cash extraction. The ETH doesn't leave the ecosystem. And this is kind of weirdly the design I want to trick everyone else to do, right? Because if we actually created this, right, as the standard for this market, um, I actually think you create a market that would grow then, right? Because then ETH would only leave for projects after 21 days of market fit or 14 days of market fit, right? Something to that level. It's actually a really brilliant design. So we hope the market likes it. We hope we execute beyond this mint price. And then I hope that, this product can really give our community a chance, because we're going to mint this at a very favorable price to the rest of the market. And you'll see, dude, you'll see what everyone else is minting at. And then you'll see our mint price. You'll be like, oh, tribe aren't dicks, right? Especially if we're a Genesis asset. It's not, yeah, what you're going to see from us, I think, is like really, really fair. So, with that, I hope you guys will stay tuned to that kind of product experience and where that's going. Should be really fun for that entire product, and kind of seeing where Ronin goes. As we wrap up here, I'll give you guys a quick relic, and then I'll just show you some one of one PFPs. Actually, before we go, I'll show you these one of one PFPs. Let me just show you these. These are some amazing one of one PFPs that just got wrapped up that I want to announce for the community. These are great. Yeah, let's start this week. Let's start this week. When can you do some calls? I'm trying to trick Zhao into doing an AMA here in our Discord this week. Hopefully, he'll do it. Ooh. Okay, great. If you use, I'm gonna trigger something here in just a second. All right, but let me grab this art. Oh, okay. Well, we haven't unveiled that one. Oh, this one's dope, and this one's dope. So we want to show. Let's show this guy. Well, I don't have all the full up to date ones. Okay, this one's at least up to date. This one's Mikey D's. Oh my god, this one turned out really dope. Check out this. He wanted like a skeleton character. Pretty cool. Got some like interesting, totally different vibes here. Feels like, honestly, this feels like it could be its own collection, right? Like, isn't this insane? This is a custom 101 PFP. The guy's rocking a diamond chain. Like, he's got the Hope Diamond on him. Like, oh my god, this guy might have been the guy who got murdered in the Titanic and is wearing the Hope Diamond still. Got some dope this punk jacket is awesome. I love these guitar coming out of this dude's fucking head. This is wild, and this smoke effect is crazy good. Like, check out how insane this is, right? And this is kind of where you see some dope stuff. This is the 101 from Tabula Rasa. These are the custom PFP drivers. So one of the things we're pushing in our world for Fury is we're literally going to create 100 one of one drivers for PFPs for our community. So, this was a paid mint. This is one of the features they get. This is one of like 10 features, but this is one of the biggest features. And we're getting these amazing one of one. So every person, right, gets to choose exactly what they want, right? And it's just beautiful. And they get to customize all their looks, their styles, and then they get a fucking one of the most talented artists I've ever had the chance to work with. In Joey, he is killing it. I mean, he's done some other good, amazing stuff. Like There's right Pepe John Wick. This isn't even the final one, but this is the one I have on me. I should just go grab the folder. And this one looks super sick too. Like, I just love the idea of Pepe and John Wick being like a total new like character series. Really cool. Um, Similarly, right? You guys have seen some of the generative stuff. You've seen um, what else do we have? Oh, like I should write. Wait, there's mirrors, but let me grab another new one. Let me grab one more new one. Oh, we just finished up Virgilius's, and Virgilius might have one of the coolest traits that I know which trait from Virgilius's I'm going to be using in the main collection. He's got this. All I can say is Spirit Wolf. Oh my god! When you guys see that, you're gonna lose your mind. I think we'll reveal that later this week. Um, wow, Ubu's got a dope Harlequin. Oh, with a fire flaming head. That's insane. And then we had we're finishing up Armel's, or I think Armel's is almost finished. Yeah, and he went with this like super clean looking female character. Looks really great. Um, yeah, there's so many cool ones. This is still one of my favorites. I want to just bring up the Kyungs. I think I bring this one out all the time, right? And this Kyungs is like ridiculously good. I think this is a collection in and of itself. A fucking roaring lion. Like, who wants lazy lions? I want roaring lions. Honestly, you know who should pay us for this? The Sacramento Kings. They should make this their fucking mascot. They should make Samson their lion, their king like this. Oh my god, their lion. Oh, this guy would be a killer. I think this one was like insanely dope. These are all from the same PFP collection, which I think is just ridiculous here. Oh yeah, Killam just showed the final version of the Pepe John Wick, which is better lit than mine. Way better lit. Oh, his looks even better. He's got a spotlight on it. Wow, this one's dope. Thank you for sharing that, Killam. I appreciate. Hold on, you know what? I gotta save that. I love that. I love my community members have uh, better updated versions on them handy than I do, which is pretty hilarious. It also just shows how much we kind of share this out. Yeah, that's Kyung's. Kyung's is one of the is a pretty large NFT collection. It's got a Genesis collection, and Kyung's himself is like one of the dopest like devs. So he does all the work for Captains and Meme Land, and then he's also doing a lot of the stuff on Yoga Pets as well. And then he has his own Kyung's Genesis and Cubs, and all doing really well in this market. Kyung's has been an OG, and dude just really knows how to like value his Web3 community. So, you know, he's luckily we're lucky to have him as a diamond holder. I got to activate him here, but he doesn't do it. No, this is straight up Kyung's. This is our honorary for Kyung's himself, Tanimal. I think Saita actually has the gargoyle one. Like, I think Saita should do that one. Like, where's this gargoyle one? Right? It's in the yeah, he hasn't yeah, Saita hasn't submitted it yet. Saita has his own Kyungs, and then we did this dope gargoyle one in the comic book. Could be great. I'm designing my next one. I have a basic Lewis Hamilton one that I shared, which I really like. It's really clean and minimal. I have like three of them being done, which is kind of cool. We'll auction a couple of them off. One of the other ones I want is a like an angel wing character, like an Icarus character. That's kind of what I want. So I'm gonna work on that one, and then the yeah, I'll probably end up doing something like a Gundam mech. We already started to do one for maybe the generative characters. So yeah, we're there's some interesting interplay between the Genesis characters we create in the one-on-one PFPs and then the generative collections. Because remember, there's some dope generatives. Like, check out, this is one of the generative bases for Fury. Fury will be one of the most ridiculously looking PFP projects ever created. Like I really do believe that, and it's because of Joey. Oh, where is this one? Just look at this. And Joey did this. This is the base, right, for the generative character. So all the generative drivers in Fury are gonna have masks, right? And these just look awesome. If you're a big fan of Tron, huge inspiration there. Daft Punk, huge inspiration. And you're gonna see these different styles, different helmets, different, emblems. Like these characters are gonna be cool. So they're all gonna the generative character is gonna have a couple different lines as well too, which is going to be really cool because there'll be like this Tron lineup. There'll be like a Gundam mask lineup, so they'll have these huge Gundam like masks. Like I don't want to say Gundam, let's say mech like masks, right? Which will be really cool. We'll probably have another one that will be like pure racing, like Formula One racing series, right? So it'll look like more professional. So we're gonna have all these cool ones, and then if you like these like PFPs, again, this one's pricey too. Don't get me wrong. It's a totally different experiment where we're getting people to pay for a very premium experience for Tabula Rasa. But if you like comics and you like one of one PFPs, Tabula Rasa is going to be really cool as well too. We're not probably gonna do an unmask though. That would be maybe interesting, but like the problem is it's just so much art. The amount of one art that you have to draw for this type of collection is insane. Like Joey's gonna end up spending 300 hours, right, on this collection of just like drawing. Like we're gonna work him to the bone. It looks like at this point. So he's gonna we're gonna see what we can pull off here. But yeah, this is for a pretty large collection in this design. So we're revamping all of our IP, right? So like Fury's getting revamped, Reapers is getting revamped, and that's what we could do in a bear is that we're taking this very simplistic approach that we can keep building and scaling with each of you guys every single day and getting this right, and there's some really cool things happening here. We will be unmasking one character, Virgilius's character, the way he designed his one of one PFP. He's got some cool stuff. Virgilius, dude, I was telling them, man, I think your one on one's got one of the coolest traits. Like I almost want to steal the trait, which I think is going to be really cool. I can't wait for you to see that one. I think we're unveiling that to you tomorrow, or I gotta Joey and them are on top of it. They'll unveil it as well too. So we're having some nice little fun here as well. So let's do this. Let's head to the secret chamber. Let me get you this, and then I'll kind of wrap up and just talk about some of the events left for this week if you're interested. This is 7:23. Yep. Okay. Period 30. I don't really care how long this one is. Okay. The password is 29836. The password is 29836. Oh, 29386. Okay, hopefully you guys got that. 29836. Jeez, I think I said that wrong the first time, the third time. Hopefully you guys got it. 29836. Man, all these numbers getting me twisted. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Joey's in here. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty dope. I know Joey's got a lot of tricks up his sleeves. I'm meeting one of our diamond holders tomorrow, and he's gonna pitch me and walk me through his plans for his one of one. Like that's the level of VIP service we're doing. We're meeting diamond holders in person to get the pitch as well. No, it'll be really cool. I'm pretty excited about it here. So pretty cool on this front. We're kind of going to the next level here on the design. Real quick, some of the new stuff you guys want to keep an eye out for. Yeah, I'll give you the redeemed roll, Black Nicholson. Um, yeah, some of you still have the Souls of the Forgotten. All right, let's keep going. So real quick, let me talk to you guys about the new events and the new stuff. Um, Big stuff here to kind of keep an eye out for is tomorrow we'll do our tribe the next NFT cycle. We're just going to talk to you about how we think this first wave sucked and how we're going to make it better and like how the market's going to make it better. So that should be a fun event. Definitely try to tune in. That'll be one of our opening week events where we're just going to be a little bit more direct with our feedback here as well. Outside of that, right, a new show that we're starting this week is going to be Ordinals Market. Definitely show up for that if you're interested. Um, what else do we have? Other cool stuff if you're interested, right? There's Galactic Vote. If you guys want a heads up on what's happening with Ronin and going a little bit deeper, we have Enter the Dojo that's exclusively for you guys. You'll get a first look into what Ronin is doing and what we're building. And then right after that, on Thursday, we'll do Ronin a big public event, right? Where we'll unveil it and show with everyone, how this process is. And yeah, it'll be pretty cool. You guys will be able to wear your Ronin flags on Twitter if you want, which will be also pretty cool because I think we're just gonna have a lot of fun of um, letting people know how active our community is. I'm really excited to show Reapers out to the world. Ronin out to the world. But then we have right after that a Reapers Galactic Vote. Make sure you're ready for all those votes. We're going to vote number 3. And updates from vote number 1 are coming in this week, and vote number 2 will be finalized tomorrow. We'll see the results. Lots of cool things, lots of shifts in our world. Get ready for the next ripples. Behind that, if you're interested and you travel a lot, uh, check out our Something is Minting with Ethiod. Again, this is not a speculative mint. Don't mint this if you're not going to use it. It's not worth it. It's probably not going to trade higher than mint price. It is small supply, 300, right? So you really want to understand the design is going to be really around this whole product experience of do you want to travel and expedite your relationship with Etihad Airways? And there's a lot of hyper travelers who get benefits flying with one airline, and it's really the advantage of being able to get stuff like upgrades, right, to first class and those types of designs as well. So this is kind of where you're going to see all these kind of updates coming through in the product experience. So you'll see that with Something is Minting there as well. Outside of that, the other cool thing here is we'll do an update on Village and give you an update on season 1, where we landed with dimensionals, what's next with Jungle, how we're expanding our village. There's actually been 2 other new village type of partners coming. These aren't like NFT launch partners, but these are like technical partners. So we're going to share a little bit more about that as well. That should be pretty fun as well. Um, Yeah, Reapers. Yeah, that's already been updated for quite a bit. So you'll see as soon as it got knocked out, you'll see revoked senators getting kicked out of Reapers. So there's already 32. There's probably a little bit more than that. You'll kind of keep seeing them update, and every week you're just going to see 30, 50 senators probably over the first few start losing their roles, right? And again, this is for those who have the ability to complete their duty into this product experience, which is pretty cool. And that's kind of the thing is you're seeing a live deflationary event supply going out, right? Prior to mint. Who does deflationary design prior to mint? Only Tribe. Really fun shit. We're gonna have another new series. So our Something is Minting is now going to be called Ordinal Mints when it comes to BTC events. So we're going to talk to other new projects coming out. So we have Ordinal Donuts coming out here, a small supply play. We should probably be doing another Orange Mints with with Forgotten Runes. I just don't know when they're minting. They still haven't told me their. I want to know their mint date and supply. They haven't told me that, so we're working on that as well. So as you can see, our quite a bit on this week. We have still probably two or three more events to put up here. A few Reapers events will be going up, so just stay tuned. This is going to be kind of a real nice little opportunity for this product and this experience to kind of scale. And, I think you're going to see really quickly that even in this bear, right, if you still believe um, that the product experience is going to get, if you still believe that you can make it through this bear, I think we're going to be one of the best communities on that regard because you're going to see a really good retention. Like, again, just spontaneous event, 250 concurrent. These are really great numbers in Web3, really great numbers. And, again, as we do some of our more prepared and structured events, you're going to see 400 and 500, especially when we start putting notice and start bringing external people to the events. Those are just the internal community members coming, and we're seeing this type of stickiness. You're now going to see a lot of external growth here as well. Just remember, we're always trying to improve all of these different opportunities, all of these different kind of designs, all these different kind of worlds of where you know Web3 is going to get a lot better. It's going to be slow, but it's going to get better, right? And I think NFTs are going to be slow on ETH, but it will get better. So stay tuned and you'll hopefully get a lot of cool stuff. There's going to be a few less auctions and less raffles here this week, just to be transparent. We're right now doing some rotations of our systems. But the cool thing is that you're going to see season 2 relics and pendants go out. We're actually going to be removing all of your relics here pretty soon. So as soon as we're off this, I'm actually going to run the raffle, and it's not the raffle, sorry. As soon as we're done from this, I'm going to run the relic event, and that's going to remove all your season 2 relics, and will give you season 2 pendants as well. So you're going to see a lot of cool things coming out here as well in the design. Yeah, the auctions will open to everyone here back this week, but there will be exclusive raffles just for Soul. There will be exclusive raffles as well for those who have both souls. So there's going to be a lot of cool things here in this kind of design. So we want to just keep kind of scaling this out, kind of keep building this out, and we want to make sure that you know we give you guys as many opportunities to be a part of this experience as well. So, guys, with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll chat soon. We will hopefully get some cool updates this week. But with that, I'm going to let you all go. Bye bye now.